Hello, welcome everyone to another FPL video. My name is Mo, and today in this video we'll be talking about the best captaincy options for game week 6. I'll also be talking about the best contenders who are to pick for your captaincy options. In addition, we'll talk about some, differential choices. So if you're a bit more of a risk taker and you want to play differential to gain some more points, we'll also go through some options that are available for us in this game week. But before we get into all that, all I want you to do is like the video if you like the content, and also if you haven't subscribed to FPL INKLING, please hit that subscribe button and join the FPL INKLING family. So, the immediate choice for me so far this game week is obviously CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. So at the moment, I've been kind of like deciding in between Ronaldo and Salah who to pick. I mean, if both players were playing away games, then I was more tempted towards Salah as he's got Brentford away, but because of the home fixture, I'm more tempted towards Cristiano Ronaldo. So I remember when I made the team selection video, I was a bit undecided. I put it on Salah at that point. But at the moment, I'm a bit more swayed later on the week towards Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, I just think, he scored already in every game that he's played for Manchester United. That's including the Champions League as well. And Aston Villa at home, I think their defence, can be targeted, and I think Ronaldo's had a rest in midweek and he should have a good rest before he gets another chance for a run out in front of the Old Trafford faithful. So let's look at some underlying stats and what I believe may assist your decision as well. Obviously the high ownership plays a big part, so between him, Salah and Antonino, if they're going differential, they're probably going to be like the main picks of captaincy for this week. So at the moment he's scored 19 points in the 2 games he's played, 9.5 points per game. Now he easily could have scored 15 to 20 points last game week. It should have been a penalty. VAR checked it. I know it wasn't given, but that was a stonewall penalty, and if he'd taken it and scored, I think he would have got some more bonus points, plus he would have got a bit more points if he'd scored the penalty. Obviously there's no guarantees in terms of penalty returns, because obviously we've seen Mark Noble miss his penalty during the same game, but he was pretty decent in terms of the attacks, and he got involved where needn't be, so he's kind of pretty much isolated up front, and he was kind of solo running the attack for Manchester United. So let's look at some stats underneath lying between him for so far this season. So for expected goals, he's got 3 goals so far. It's 3.32, and expected assists, he hasn't got any so far, but he sure can do. He's got 0.02. Obviously he's a bit more selfish in that regard, similar to Salah and Mane and other great players in the Premier League. They want to score goals themselves. They want to take the kind of responsibility to get those returns. So I think his goals will be far superior to his assists. And against Villa at home, with the crowd backing him, and he's obviously got a goal scoring form at the moment, I can see him scoring. So for me, being safe, I think Ronaldo is probably going to be the most popular pick for captaincy, along with Salah. Obviously he's got Everton the game week after. Again, it does show it as red on the difficulty rating for FPL Predictor for the fixture, but again he'll be a good choice that game week as well. But for me this week so far, I'm pretty much decided now. I'm going to be sticking to Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, moving on to the next option, which is obviously Mo Salah, the highest point scorer so far in the game itself, with 50 points respectively, averaging 10 points per match. He's got Brentford away. Now, Brentford, if we look into their kind of underlying stats in terms of defensively so far, after Manchester City, they've been the best in terms of defensive attributes and their returns in terms of that. But I think this is their first real test. And yes, I know they're at home, but I still feel Liverpool will put them to the test. And if they come away with something, respect and well played Brentford. But Salah, even if he doesn't turn up for a game, he still gets a good return. So for example, the Chelsea game, did nothing for the whole game, scores a penalty, gets 10 points and gets 20 points if you had him as captain as well. So he's there or thereabouts. He doesn't have to have the most brilliant game in the world for him to get a good return. And I think, Brentford will have their first test from Liverpool this weekend. And in terms of underlying stats, 4 goals so far respectively, with 3.54 expected goals. And if we look at his stats for expected assists, he's got 2 assists so far, and it's been 1.61 as we read it so far. He won't be a popular choice against Man City the week after, so again, potentially people will be looking elsewhere for like Lukaku or Ronaldo. So for me, Salah is a good option as well. I've been deciding between the two. Originally I went Salah, but now I'm on Ronaldo, and I'm hoping he can bring home some good returns. Obviously, they've got Mane in there as well, Jota, who should be playing because Firmino is predicted to be back for the Champions League game midweek next week. So I think for Jota owners like myself, it's really good news to hear that, he should be getting some minutes under his belt, along with, Trent should be returning back as well. So I think, with the attacking assists, Salah should be hopeful on getting some returns on. But if you do go for him, he's got high ownership. He's around 56% ownership at the moment. So if you do captain him and he gets a good return, overall you will be in line with the captaincy choices. Again, these are both the two premiums, the most expensive players in the game. So if you have them in your squads, these two should be, like the first immediate decisions, or your thoughts should be with these guys to choose as your captaincy. Yes, I know it's kind of like, the trend and it's kind of boring as well, but we need to remember sometimes you just got to play safe and you got to pick the best options, right? 62% of the top 50 FPL managers last season played premiums only, and they finished highly in the ranks for the game for a very, very good reason. So if you want to play safe and you want to play with fixtures as well with the player, I think Mo Salah will come very, very close if you don't have Ronaldo in your squad. Now, third place is a bit more of a kind of like a differential option, I'd say, is Mikel Antonio. So he's had a blistering start to the season. He had that one disappointing game against Southampton. They got under his skin, got him sent off, and he missed the previous game that West Ham played against Manchester United. Now, he could have scored in that game. He's had a phenomenal start to the season again, but he's back for the Leeds fixture. He's well rested. Didn't play against Manchester United in the league game in the midweek, so he's going to be pretty well rested, and playing a Leeds team which is kind of like injury hit, with potentially Bamford's confirmed ruled out, potentially Ayling as well with the knee injury, and then you've got Rafinha, who's at 50% at the moment with a hip problem as well. So the core players of Leeds who you expect to get good returns from or should play well are actually injured at the moment. So is that a good chance for Antonio to really exploit the Leeds defence that has been so fragile and leaky at the back anyway? So if you do want to go for him, I would not be surprised whatsoever. So Leeds away at Ellen Road, they can be scored against, and Liverpool definitely exploited them a couple of weeks ago defensively as well. Let's look at some of his stats. So 39 points. So obviously he's played 4 games because he was suspended for the previous game. 9.75 points per game. And if you look at his goals, he's got 4 goals so far with expected goals to be 3.5, which is insane if he carries that on, and 3 assists with 1.48 respectively. This guy is an FPL great. If he plays and he's fit, he should be in your team, and these are the kind of games that Leeds, Brentford, that you can actually consider him as a captaincy option. So he's going to be, I think, after Salah and Ronaldo, the third best captaincy option for this week for some FPL managers who want to go brave, who want to go differential. And I think his ownership's around 34% at the moment. It's hovering between there, which I saw earlier. So again, if he does play off well and he gets good points, it can help your overall score for the week, and the ranking boost will go a long way. But that's obviously barring the fact that the other two don't fire in their respective games. But Antonio, again, seems a really good option against Leeds, who are injury hit for this game week. Now, I've been given this question a lot around Lukaku, so it will raise a few eyebrows. So a lot of people have brought this question to my attention. Yes, he's got some good fixtures after that, but he's got Man City this game week. And Man City, yes, they haven't conceded much, but defensively they have looked challenged at specific points in the season. So, with Lukaku's physical presence, he's shown that, respectively against Liverpool, he didn't score, but, with 10 men, he did show his kind of physical presence. Should have scored against Spurs on the weekend, scored against Arsenal. It shows, even in the Champions League, he scored as well. So it shows that, he's hungry for goals. And is this going to be the first real test for Manchester City to have a striker like, Lukaku with the physical presence and the determination to score? And of course, Lukaku wants to make a statement against the best, right? And who better than Manchester City at home against his, with the support of his own crowd at Stamford Bridge? He might be a good option. Obviously, on fixture difficulty, it's not the best option, but I think it'll be a differential option in that certain case. So that's why, a lot of questions have come my way for this, and I've kind of hesitated. I think there are better options this week, but let's look at some of his underlying stats so far. So 25 points respectively from the 4 games he's played, 6.25 points per game. In terms of expected goals, 3 goals so far this season, and 2.84 is the expected goals. And with assists, he's got no assists so far, and 1.4 2.9 for that as well. So I think, it might be a real brave decision for you to choose Lukaku. If you want to play differential and you are one of those risky managers and you back your, thought process or your kind of, inkling for that, then definitely hit that captaincy button on him as well. Personally, I wouldn't, but if that's what you're thinking and you want to play it, if you back it, I solely support your decision and you should be considering him as well. Now, alternative options, so, other options we can consider is Sadio Mane. I know it's against Brentford away, but this guy has shown some really good form in the last couple of game weeks and he has started scoring as well. So let's look at his stats. Points are 32 points from the first 5 game weeks, 6.4 points per game respectively. In terms of goals, 3 goals, and his expected goal involvement is 4.12, so the highest out of all the players that I've mentioned so far, and 0.74 for assists. If I look at my stats here, and he's got no assists so far. So against Brentford away, if you want to go slightly differential with Mane rather than Salah or Ronaldo or Antonio, then that's a good shout because you've got a player for 12 million in your squad. And there are chances in the season where you can actually be bold and choose that player. So this might be a good game week for you to consider Sadio Mane. Personally, I haven't got him in my squad, and if I did, I wouldn't captain him myself. But, in terms of Mane himself and how he's shown some really good form recently, it's definitely worth considering with his attacking potentials and ability to score in certain games and score big as well. Now, Jamie Vardy, so he's kind of been a bit overlooked this season, including myself. I haven't really paid much attention to him, but for 10.5 million, are we actually avoiding a real bargain of the season? So, with the signing of Daka and Iheanacho's form last season, including myself, most managers was thinking, are minutes going to be, affected for him? Is he going to be in the same, form drought that he has showed in the last 10 games last season? But it's far from it. He's getting the minutes and he's getting the goals with the points as well. 29 points so far from the 5 games respectively, 5.8 points per game. He's got Burnley this week who, are on a dismal run in terms of, being able to win a game in the Premier League. They can be targeted as well. In terms of goals, he's got 3 goals so far with 2.06 being his expected goals and expected assists with 1 so far, 0.37. So again, he's on penalties as well. He should have a good run out there as well against Burnley. Obviously, they're a physical bunch, but they have been conceding. And, Vardy is hungry and he looks someone who's passionate to prove a point once again. Even though Leicester haven't played so well, but again, he's one of their main kind of like talisman, and when he does play well, the team does well in general. So they are obviously 2 other contenders we can think of outside the box. So these are the 2 options that I have looked at personally and considered for this game week. But I don't have these guys in my squad. But if I did, of course, they could be someone who I could consider for this game week. Now let's have a look at the fixtures before we wrap up the video. So the fixtures at the top are the teams with the most kind of like favourable fixtures in the next 5 game weeks. So Leeds at the top. Are there any options from Leeds this week? Obviously, if Rafinha and Bamford were playing, would I have played any captaincy options for them against West Ham? Probably not. Arsenal, if you've got any Arsenal players in your squad, would you captain them? I personally wouldn't. We've discussed Chelsea already. Alternatives, I don't think defence, you'll be picking any captaincy choices against Man City. Leicester, we've discussed Jamie Vardy. Liverpool, other options. Trent, if you want to be brave, he's got an illness kind of flag against him, but Klopp has confirmed he should be available for the weekend. And then you've got Manchester City against the rotation option. So you're going to be brave enough to put it on Kevin De Bruyne if you've got him in your squad as a differential. Jesus or even Grealish is getting nailed on starts, but again, for Chelsea game, I would avoid them as well. And other Manchester United options, Bruno Fernandes, we haven't discussed in this video. But again, if he's in your team, are you thinking of him? Obviously, the penalty kind of shout is a bit more of a debate at the moment because we haven't seen United get a penalty since Ronaldo's arrived. And obviously, Greenwood's minutes have been, might be affected in terms of his goal involvement as well. So it'd be worthwhile seeing from there as well. So these are the fixtures runs that you can see. So obviously, players from Chelsea will be targeted more. We haven't discussed Harry Kane, for example, against Arsenal. He's got a really good record against them. He hasn't been in great form, played pretty much centre defensive midfield at some point against Chelsea to pick up the ball. He's far too deep. I mean, is Nuno telling him that? I'm pretty certain he's not, but are you going to be looking towards him as a differential? Could not be a bad chat, actually. If he scores a few goals and he's a differential ownership in terms of low ownership, he might bring in some good points haul for you. But obviously, that depends upon if you don't have any of the other assets we've discussed and they come in with good hauls as well. So there's a lot of debate to be had in terms of premiums and other players who are not premium, such as, let's say Antonio. to consider for this game week. So those are my captaincy choices, guys, for this game week. I've personally chosen Ronaldo as we're speaking. Fingers crossed he comes back with a good point haul. Are these the players you're looking at? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are there any other players that you're looking at? Someone like Ismail Sarr, who got 15 points last week. Let me know what your thought process is around that for now. But if you like the options, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to FPL INKLING. Hit the notifications bell icon and put that code in below my camera screen to join the FPL INKLING League for us to have a lovely season this season. I'll be back with a live stream just before the deadline for us to go through team selection and dilemmas before the deadline submits on Saturday morning. So I should be streaming from about 10 o'clock in the morning. So stay tuned and please join in with the debate before we get into game week 6. I want you guys to take care, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you soon with some more content.